Welcome to the Thomas and Friends Character Gallery. Thomas has many friends on the island of Sodor that I'm sure you are eager to learn about. You can either sit back and listen to the fun facts about many of your Thomas friends, or, if you're in a hurry to see a favorite Sodor friend, you can click on the next button that appears on the screen. If you would like to go back to a friend, use your arrow buttons on your remote and click on the back button that appears on the screen. Have fun! Thomas can be described as a cheeky, fussy little engine. He often gets into scrapes, usually by being overeager to do things best left to bigger and more sensible engines. But clouds never last long in Thomas's life, and he's soon bustling about again, playing his part in the yard and on his very own branch. James is a medium-sized engine. His 6 driving wheels are not as big as Gordon's and not as small as Thomas's. He has a fine scarlet coat and brass dome, and likes to think of himself as a really splendid engine. This can occasionally lead to highfalutin ideas about the sort of work suitable for such a noble creature. Invariably, they land. Percy is the junior member of the principal team of engines. He is a happy little chap, who's normally quite happy puffing around the yard with no particular desire for adventure in the great world outside. He is always keen to oblige, a fact of. Henry is a long, fast engine. He has a thoroughbred look, and like all thoroughbreds tends to be somewhat highly strung and prone to illness. But he has his new shape now, and sympathetically driven, he'll give any engine. Mavis is a feisty young diesel engine who works at the quarry. She is full of her own ideas and doesn't take kindly to advice. She has a lot to learn about trucks, but with Toby's help. Gordon is the senior member of the engine family, the fastest and most powerful of Sir Topham Hatt's string, and he knows it. He's good-hearted, though, and always willing to forgive, and uses his superior strength to. Duck is a cheerful and busy engine. He's only a small tank engine, but coming as he does from the Great Western Railroad, he'll stand no nonsense whatsoever from the law. Edward is an older engine, but the most important thing about him is that he's kind. When the other engines misbehave, it's Edward that Sir Topham Hatt turns to calm everyone. Toby is old-fashioned, both in looks and outlook. Every engine, no matter how old, wants to be really useful, and having once nearly been scrapped, Toby is always happy to work. He's not above being temperamental sometimes, but since he works mainly up an outlying quarry line, he can work off his moods without causing grief to anyone. Bertie has a great deal in common with Thomas. Ever since their great race, they have been the firmest of friends. Bertie's strongest characteristic is his friendly grin and his readiness to help any engine prepared to admit that just sometimes roads have their uses. In a railway family, Harold can hardly avoid having a high profile. He brings a welcome spot of dash to the quiet landscape of Sodor whenever he appears, and even if the noise he makes is occasionally wearing, he is good-hearted and. Like all cranes, Cranky has a high and mighty attitude, which often annoys the engines. Cranky knows that if he ever gets too big for his crane hook, the engines have ways of getting back at him. However, Cranky enjoys teasing them because he says it makes for good working relationships. But don't ask. Trevor is a very old tractor who enjoys spending time dozing in the sun. However, he dislikes being left outside for too long and loves an opportunity. Slow and steady and always with a smile. That's Terence, the subject of endless teasing from the younger engines because of his caterpillar tracks. Terence takes it all in good stride and gets on with the job, never hesitating to help out when an emergency. It's been many years since I first came to Sodor as a railway engineer. I rose quickly in the company, being a director at an early age and eventually chairman. My imposing appearance, no less than my firm but kindly handling of both engines and staff, earned me the affectionate nickname of the Fat Director. Then, after nationalization, when I was awarded knighthood for my services to the railway industry, I became Sir. Thank you for visiting the Thomas and Friends Character Gallery. Be sure to come back